Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to a brand new edition of the Cerebral Smack Talk live on YouTube and StreamYard.com. It is good old MF Michael Fletcher alongside Anthony Florio and Michael Bullock. Dee Dee Woodson will not be with us tonight. But guys, tonight, like we said, this entire week and what's been going on in the world, the coronavirus has affected a lot of the sporting landscape and around the world. Events have been canceling, events have been modified, limit the announcement of the many fans that would be appropriate for the event. Tonight, the WWE was affected in certain ways. Number one, they had to remove themselves because this show was supposed to originally emulate from the Little Caesars Arena in Detroit, Michigan. It thus was moved to the WWE Performance Center in Orlando, Florida. From there, the show was also tampered by the fact that there was no crowds allowed. So no fans were allowed at the Performance Center, and that they were going to do this in an empty arena. However, the WWE had their show just without the fans. So this made for a very unique and very weird dynamic, to say the very least. However, with the show, we will cover it and we will give you our professional job as always. So, with that said, we started it off with a very by a speech by Triple H, and then he joined Michael Cole at ringside, and the first fight of the night we had was SmackDown Women's Champion Bayley and Sasha Banks, and they went up against Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross. When it was all said and done, Bayley and Sasha Banks wins the match in 11 minutes. All right, good for what it was worth. The fight was fine, and it was, like we said, it was a little weird because, you know, you can get a little hyped with the crowd and everything else, but with no crowd there, it was really, can they put a performance that would make us enthralled, make us feel like, wow, that was great? Because now in wrestling, the crowd really gives you what was great, what was boring, what was bad. This time around, without a crowd, it's the athleticism. So our scale is going to be a little more different this time around. We might be a little more harsher and a little more harder, but I think we can give a little more leeway as well, because now you got to give an overall effort in order for it to work. By the end of this, I thought it was good. I thought it was solid. I give this about 2.5 to 2 3/4 of a star. Maybe flirting with 3. But I don't think 3 is high enough. But for what it's worth, I thought they did pretty well. It was different. It was unique. And I get it. I understand that this virus has affected a lot of things. But for them to at least put the effort out, I give them A for effort here. So, Anthony Florio, it's all yours.
Well, I'll tell you, MF. 2 to 2.5 for me.
Okay.
It was amusing to see Nikki try to rally the crowd at times. Yeah, you saw that.
I saw that.
But the match was all right. You know, it was just all right for me, as Randy Jackson always used to say on Idol. But it did advance the potential Kabuki Warriors, Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross match. that's being rumored for WrestleMania and the women's tag team championships. Although I'm also hearing rumors that Beth Phoenix and Natalya are going to be added to that match to make it a triple threat, almost like what we had last year. Even though that was a 4-way, and the outcome, of course, was very much to MF's liking. But it is what it is. So we'll have to wait and see how they go about it. But despite all that's going on, all the nonsense in the world nowadays, I am hopeful that with this show tonight, on behalf of MF and on behalf of Bullock, I'm hopeful that the three of us can, for however long we're going to be on, which will be probably not very long, but we hope that we can at least, give you some much needed relief. That's all there is.
Absolutely. Amen to that. Absolutely.
Amen to that.
And that's why we're here. That's why we do this. That's why we do this. We love what we do, and we want to give you fans out there. It doesn't matter if it's a gazillion views like some other YouTubers, like Luigi PS3, who we're all big fans of, or if we just get, a few here and there. All we want to do is for at least a short period of time, calm you all down and, at least provide some sort of relief, because it is absolute bedlam in this world nowadays. From the supermarkets to the Walmarts and what have you, it has been complete and utter chaos. And, it's at the likes that I have never, ever seen before in my entire life. So I'm just hopeful that we can give you folks at least some sort of relief. And unfortunately, on Thursday nights, we will not be able to do that. But for the time being, from as long as we have content for Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna give you our opinions. We're gonna do what we always do, and we're just gonna hope that all of you out there can have some sort of relief. So sit back, relax, do whatever it is you do, and let us inform and maybe even entertain. Amen. So that's all there is to say on that. So 2 to 2.5 is my rating for this. So Michael Bullock, come on in. Let's get your thoughts on this opening women's tag team matchup.
Yeah, this was definitely a good way to start it off. I mean, I'll give it about maybe 2.5 stars for the effort. I mean, the women, they tried their best to give us a good match. Like you said, it's tough with no fans in an arena, or in this case, the performance center. So I gotta commend them for at least trying their best. So yeah, with Asuka basically coming out to distract them. Yeah, I think this is gonna set up for a potential Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross against the Kabuki Warriors, or like you said, maybe a triple threat at WrestleMania. Now, and don't forget another thing, guys. There was another thing that was supposed to go down tonight. It was Bayley was supposed to be confronted by the former Divas champion Paige, but obviously I did find out, but because of this whole travel situation with this coronavirus, she unfortunately couldn't make it, so we didn't get Paige tonight. So
here's the problem. Because of the fact of the coronavirus and everything else, if Paige is still in England, she will not be back. She will not be back for at least a month. That means she will not be available for WrestleMania if there is a WrestleMania. As of right now, it's still on. We still have a WrestleMania that to go down, but because of this travel ban that was implemented by the President of the United States a couple of days ago, we will not have Paige or some of the UK talent come to the United States. So it really does put a damper on a lot of the wrestling, because especially for NXT UK, they will not be allowed to come back to the United States. So they might have to do their own NXT takeover to compensate for some of the stuff that's going on. So we'll see.
That's right. And let's not forget another thing, too. She won't be on backstage for a while now.
And she won't be on backstage for at least a month. Yeah.
And I've also heard, gentlemen, that FS1 is shutting down production for their studio shows, including backstage.
Well, then there you go. So basically, backstage will probably be unable to go. Undisputed, which will now also be postponed. So yeah, so FS1's making the decisions not to do any of these shows. So there's really nothing more to say on that.
Yeah,
all right, guys.
Yeah. Because like you said, there's really nothing to talk about. But anyways, a good match to start. So let's just move on, Fletch.
Next up we had was Michael Cole interviewing Roman Reigns. So Anthony Florio, come on in. Roman actually cut it a pretty good promo and went after Bill Goldberg about A, being a part-timer, and B, how a lot of the fans are probably not happy right now that he is the Universal Champion. He was tugging at two major points that the IWC and especially the WWE Universe were going after Goldberg about.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, he's absolutely right. I mean, this whole part-timer thing, that's been, a lot of controversy. A lot of folks have not been happy about that. But I'll say this. The content of Roman's promo seemed to indicate a direction I don't think is exactly wise to take with this angle. Calling Goldberg a part-timer is fine, but having Roman call himself the most dedicated guy in the company over and over is not something that has worked well for him in the past, and something I think fans continue to think rings hollow. I can't imagine this would have been particularly well received in front of a live crowd, and perhaps that's why they thought they could get away with this again. At this point, with WrestleMania's future uncertain, this may not even matter. But it's a curious direction nonetheless. But it was a fine interview. Good. I thought Roman came off really well here, and at least for the time being, he's not going to have to worry about those haters that are in the crowd that always boo him, even after everything he's been through. So it is what it is. So fine for what it was, and we're just gonna have to wait and see on it. So there's no question about it. When the match happens, whenever that is, which I'm praying will be on April 5th as scheduled. Hopefully this thing will be contained very quickly. But when the match does happen, there is no question about it. All three of us, we're already in agreement. We already know Roman's going to walk out of there the new Universal Champion. So there is no question about it. Get back the title he never technically lost, because he was never beaten for it. He had to give it up. We should know. We were all there. The three of us were there in Providence the night he announced when he had leukemia on that Monday Night Raw, October 22nd of 2018. We'll never forget it for as long as we live. So to this day, it's still the best WWE show we ever went to at the Dunk. So we'll see about April 13th, if and when that happens. So, but for right now, nothing really more to say on it. Good interview there. So nothing more to say. Michael Bullock, Roman Reigns, he poured his heart out with Michael Cole. Not bad.
Yeah, not bad. It was fine for what it was. Like you said, with the no crowd there, Roman could get away with some of the things that he said. And yeah, he basically saying that, you want like a full-timer to be a world champion. And so don't worry, people. If and when this match does happen, which I hope it is April 5th, Roman's going to get his moment. He's going to become the Universal Champion and get back that title that he never really lost. So there's really nothing more to say. Fletch, it's yours.
Yeah, I agree with that. I thought it was a good segment. I thought it was really well done by Roman Reigns. I really got nothing more to add. Then there was a backstage segment where Cesaro, let me see. Yeah. So Cesaro interrupted Kayla Braxton as she was to interview Sami Zayn as the new Intercontinental Champion. After that, Jeff Hardy showed up, and just said that he was glad to be back. He's healthy, hungrier than ever. Then, King Bleep Face Baron Corbin shows up. They start cutting. It start cutting into a promo there. Then after that, then we had Daniel Bryan and Drew Gulak. There was a little bit of a back and forth, and it actually led to a match. Well, an announced match: Daniel Bryan versus Cesaro later in the evening. But before we got there, they actually gave us a special treat for all the SmackDown fans out there. If you did not see Elimination Chamber, they actually showed the Elimination Chamber match for the SmackDown Tag Team titles in its entirety. Yeah, there was commercials along the way, unfortunately, but you got to see the Chamber match, which I think is really cool. Props to WWE for doing something. They've done it before with other fights to give us a little special something, and I really think that was actually pretty cool for them to give us the Chamber fight, to give us the Elimination Chamber. So after that, we did get Daniel Bryan versus Cesaro. And when it was all said and done, Daniel Bryan gets the win at 6 minutes and 25 seconds. So, Michael Bullock, you lead off here. So, Daniel Bryan gets the victory over Cesaro, and then after that, Drew Gulak, of all people, actually saved Bryan because Nakamura jumped him.
Yeah, that was a little surprising to see Drew Gulak basically help Daniel Bryan to prevent a potential 2-on-1 ambush. But yeah, 6.5 minutes. I was hoping for a little bit more when it comes to this match, but I can only give this about 2 stars. The thing is, like you said, it's nothing against the two guys. With no crowd being there, it's hard to really get into this match. So, I did enjoy it, but it was just the way of not having the fans there. It's just makes you think you really couldn't get into this. So it was a little disappointing. So 2 stars for me. Fletch, it is yours.
And 2 to 2.25 stars. It was a nice little sprint, but nothing too amazing. I really got nothing else to add. Anthony, Daniel Bryan gets a nice little victory. Maybe they're setting him up to give him a shot for the title. Down the line. It would be pretty cool to see Daniel Bryan as Intercontinental Champion. Right now, we were thinking maybe Strowman, but it doesn't look like Strowman is anywhere near a title match anytime soon, unless they're going to wait for Mania. But I think right now, I would probably say we might be setting up for possibly Daniel Bryan versus Sami Zayn WrestleMania for the title.
Did they ever fight in Ring of Honor, MF?
Yes.
And I bet it was epic, wasn't it?
It was really good.
Bryan Danielson versus El Generico?
Yep.
Yeah.
let's just say there was one of the most funniest moments you'll ever see that happened before the fight even started, and it was the infamous hug. There's a hugging incident. I'm not. You guys got to see it for yourself, but it was pretty. It was pretty hilarious.
I would imagine so. But yeah, I'd be down for a Daniel Bryan versus Sami Zayn one-on-one match. I mean, say what you want about Sami Zayn, lame duck man and the whole 9 yards, and probably the most irritating. I would say he's right. I mean, him and Corbin are the two most irritating and obnoxious heels. With, in our opinion, we give them X-Pac heat, that go away heat. That's what it is, because they're both at the point to go away, and we always love it when they get their comeuppance. I had thought it was going to be Strowman. Maybe Strowman would squash Sami Zayn in a short amount of time and get the belt back. I wouldn't have an issue with that. But Bryan and Zayn, that's definitely a Mania quality bout based on their bodies of work. I would love to see it from a technical standpoint. I mean, it would be a great technical wrestling matchup. So, I'd be all for it. I mean, MF knows. I mean, they fought in Ring of Honor, Bryan Danielson against El Generico, and he said it was a good match. I believe him, because he is our Ring of Honor expert. So that's all there is to say on that. So, but I'm going to be a little bit more generous here. 2.5 to 3. As you would expect. Yes, it was short, but these two had a good and fun wrestling match for the most part. However, on a show that felt so incredibly eerie and unplanned, you would think they would have let Bryan and Cesaro, two of the best wrestlers in the company, wrestle longer than a 6-minute bout. But obviously, that was not the point of tonight. They went as lighthearted and off the cuff as they possibly could. So that's the nitpick I have on it. But other than that, short match, yes, but it was a fun one nonetheless. I mean, just imagine if they could have given them 15 to 20. Then we would have been talking 3.5 to 4 easy, because these two could go.
Oh yeah, they could tear the house down.
Yes, sir. Did they ever fight in Ring of Honor, MF? Bryan Danielson and whatever that name was, Cesaro had, Claudio, whatever that name was.
Oh man, I might have to go into the archives to try to pull that. I don't believe so. But then again, I could be surprised. I know Generico and Danielson went at it.
Yeah.
And I remember that fight. And yeah, like I said, other than the funny beginning, I remember that one was like at least 15, 20 minutes. But it was an enjoyable fight. It was a really good match. So, I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, so I was just curious if Bryan and Cesaro had ever fought in Ring of Honor. So.
It's possible, but I don't remember. I would have to, like I said, I would have to check the archives.
Yeah, we'll definitely have to look into that. But for me, this was a 2.5 to 3. I mean, they would have torn the house down if they had been given a lot more time. It would have been 3.5 to 4 easy. So that's all I can say on that. But Bryan and Zayn for the IC belt. It's very likely not going to be a Savage Steamboat 5-star classic, but you never know. So that's all I can say. Let's move on.
Yeah. So the next thing that we had, was Jeff Hardy versus King Corbin. Jeff Hardy squashes him in 2 minutes and 25 seconds, but hold, Elias got involved. Elias was in the building, and he actually helped Jeff Hardy get the win. You know what? I'm going to say it. It was funny. It was hilarious. It was ha-ha. And yes, we were ha-ha-ing at Corbin for being a dummy. And, I don't think there's going to be much sympathy for what happened to Baron Corbin here tonight as he loses to Jeff Hardy. I know no sympathy from Florio, definitely no sympathy from Michael Bullock. Who am I kidding? But we don't have to talk about that. That's an automatic throwaway for us. Then we do end it with a segment between John Cena and Bray Wyatt. And guys, segment of the night. You definitely don't need a crowd for this one. Cena and Wyatt, the way they did that was absolutely perfect. The body of work was good. This was a very strong promo. Wyatt and his craziness, you don't really need it. So you don't need a crowd for this. This was by far the best thing that went down on the show tonight. Segment of the night. This was a perfect ending to the show. And on top of that, this actually ended up being very good build towards WrestleMania. If this fight does not happen right now, if it doesn't happen on April 5th, if it needs to be pushed down the line, okay, that's fine. But what Cena and Wyatt are doing is making me intrigued enough that even if it doesn't happen on April 5th, this will still be in my mind whenever the fight at Mania actually does go down. So, no, they did a great job to close this. Anthony, it's yours.
MF, I did some research, and Bryan Danielson and Claudio Castagnoli, they actually fought. I actually found a couple of videos of them fighting on the independent circuit. Not quite Ring of Honor, but in Ring of Honor, Manhattan Mayhem 3, June 13th of 2009. Bryan Danielson and Claudio Castagnoli were involved in a fatal four-way match. It was the two of them, along with Colt Cabana and D'Lo Brown. In a four-way match, Manhattan Mayhem 3, from June 13th of 2009. So that's the only that I know of when it comes to Bryan and Cesaro outside of WWE. But as far as that closing segment goes, yes, I agree. It was the segment of the night. Cena was Cena, as always. I mean, seeing Cena and Cole together again, that always brings back some fun memories of all the fun those two used to have back in the day. And it was a very nice surprise to see. It was very surprising to see the Firefly Funhouse Wyatt. I mean, we were all, if he was going to be there, we were all expecting maybe as the Fiend, but no, he showed up as the Firefly Funhouse Wyatt with the whole yowie wowie and all that. And yeah, I mean, it came off really well. And, the reason why I consider myself the Cena nowadays, whereas MF used to be back in the day, but I've considered myself now the Cena of the group here. And the reason why is because I just love his heart, and I love the heart and the emotion and the intensity and the fire in his promos, and this was no exception. I mean, he talked about Bray Wyatt and how Bray Wyatt was blaming Cena for his downward spiral, and that's exactly what we all thought. WrestleMania 30, when they battled, Cena went over when he really should not have. I mean, Wyatt really should have gotten the rub there, and he didn't. And that's pretty much when his whole downward spiral began, even though he's had a couple of moments here and there. Abbreviated runs with the WWE and Universal Championships and whatnot. But yeah, I mean, we're all in agreement. I mean, yes, Cena got the rub in 30, but when it comes to 36, Wyatt has to and must go over here. God forbid Cena goes over again. Oh, God.
Oh, no. Oh, no. No.
Good Lord. You think you thought the IWC was pissed 6 years ago? Just imagine.
They'll be pissing all over him this time around.
Oh, no. There will be a riot.
Oh, yes.
An absolute riot.
Big time.
If Cena wins over... No, that cannot happen this time around. I mean...
You heard what Cena said. You heard what Cena said. Invest in the future. Invest in the future, guys. He brought up Drew McIntyre, and he brought up all the folks from NXT. Like a Velveteen Dream and what have you.
Yep.
I 100% agree. Those are the guys that need to be invested. Now, I know they want to have part-timers for Mania and all that, and that's fine and dandy. But we need to invest in the future. And Cena has it exactly right. I mean, that's exactly what I would do. If it was me, if I was a veteran, and I know all three of us feel the exact same way, but We were veterans, and if the opportunity came for us to put over the younger talent, I'd do it. I'd say yes in a heartbeat because that's who I am. So, and I think that's what Cena is now, and it leads us to believe that Wyatt will get the win back. Not only that, but perhaps we even referred to it some time ago on this show, a possible passing of the torch moment.
Mm.
So
Mm-hmm.
we've seen many of at WrestleManias, from Andre to Hogan the Warrior to the Rock and Cena. You know, the list goes on and on and on. So we'll have to wait and see. But this came off very well. I liked it, and then you heard that Fiend laugh at the end there. It was very well done. And all I can say is this show tonight was definitely an experience for us. And all I can say to all of you wonderful folks out there, get used to this site because we're going to be seeing a lot of it for a long, long time. So hopefully not too long. So that's all there is to say on that. So segment of the night, I agree on that 100%. So Bullock, did this segment tonight raise your excitement level for Cena and the Fiend at Mania? It definitely did me. Took mine sky high.
It did for me as well. I mean, I like the way how, I mean, Cena being the passionate guy, and I always asked about it. He was responsible for the downfall of Bray Wyatt, but and he talked about, hey, he's not the typical person that people think he is. But he's also talked about some of his downfalls too. I mean, getting beaten up by Brock Lesnar at SummerSlam, losing to The Rock at WrestleMania. I mean, some of the things he did mention. And it was a surprise to see the Firefly Funhouse Bray Wyatt there. Yeah, I mean, the interaction there was really good, and I'm definitely looking forward to it. And yeah, we're definitely all in agreement that Bray Wyatt's going to go over this time around. And like you said, if John Cena goes over again, you know the IWC is going to be coming to WWE headquarters with the pitchforks and the flames. They're going to want Vinnie Mac's head on a silver platter.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, big time.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, but I don't see that happening. Bray Wyatt's definitely going to go over here, but yeah, I'm just warning everybody here that if John Cena goes over, this could get very ugly and not in a good way. And you know, social media is going to be exploding big time right there. But I don't think we're going to have to worry about it. So, Fletch, it's yours.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Wow. So you're absolutely right, guys. It's time for the overall review. Anthony, it is yours. You lead off on this one. So definitely a weird SmackDown, but we got to give a rating for it. So what did you think about tonight's show?
6.5, I think. It was certainly different, and they tried to make the best of the current situation. For me, I got to be honest here. The issue with the show, yes, no crowd makes it very difficult, was the big issue for me was that they just denied the reality of the situation. And they just did the show shot for shot, including playing to the non-existent crowd, shooting backstage segments, and they didn't really try to make it different or more intimate. However, rebroadcasting that SmackDown Tag Team Championship Elimination Chamber match, which was fun, that was smart. I had no issue with that whatsoever. A great way to fill the time, honestly. I think if you had cut it down a little more, you could have given some of that time to Bryan and Cesaro, and we could have gotten a hell of a lot better match from those two. Hunter having fun, busting Michael Cole's chops throughout the show was very amusing. There were some good promos, and Bryan and Cesaro was good, albeit short. I think it was solid, all things considered. But I am very curious though. I mean, we're going to stay invested. But I just wonder how long all the other fans around this country and this world, how long are those fans going to stay interested and invested watching Raw, NXT, and SmackDown every week for the foreseeable future with no crowds? So I just wonder, it's going to be very interesting how the ratings play out for all our shows. So 6.5 for me. That's the best I can go. So Bullock, what says you?
Whoop.
Yeah, we lost.
Unfortunately, we lost Michael Bullock. 6.5 for me for the moment. Before we can get Michael Bullock back on, I think he was supposed to unmute the mic and then accidentally shut himself down. So 6.5. Mike Bullock is back with us. So Bullock, go right ahead. 6.5 for me. 6.5 for Anthony. Where do you stand?
Yeah, I'm gonna make it unanimous and go 6 to 6.5 as well. I mean, WWE, like you said, they tried the best they could to give us a show that we can enjoy. I mean, especially with no crowd. So, yeah, I mean, like you said, the only issue is that they didn't bring up the situation with what was going on. But I think the reason why is they didn't want to put too much fear into the people out there, because quite frankly, I mean, I'm pretty sure there's a good amount of fear already because of the situation from other media outlets. So I think that's probably the reason why they didn't address it. I mean, that's just my personal feeling on the whole thing. So yeah, so there's nothing more to say. Fletch, it's yours.
Yeah, no doubt about it. So guys, that's it. We're done for the night. There is no Mikey's Mindset. All right, so I'm monitoring the situation with this because apparently the NCAA announced that they possibly might release the official bracket, what the bracket would have looked like for the NCAA tournament. Now, if they do on Sunday, Anthony, myself, and Michael Bullock will actually do the bracket. But the way we'll do it is as a what if. What if we were doing the tournament? Who would have been our national champion? And if they decide to release it, we'll do it Sunday night at 10 p.m. If they don't release it, then obviously the show will not happen, and we'll see you guys again on Monday night for Ridiculously Raw. Until then, we're on a wait and see. So we might have a show on Sunday night. We might not. We might see you again on Monday. So we'll wait and see. Keep your close eye on all the social media networks, Facebook, YouTube, on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, wherever that we do it. If we got it, we'll do it. If we don't, then we'll just let it be. All right, guys. So until then, that's it. Thank you, Anthony Floyo. Thank you, Michael Bullock. And for all of us here on Cerebral Smack Talk, live on YouTube and StreamYard.com. So long for now.